Hello and welcome to this new tutorial. In the previous video we discussed the topic of creating lobby sessions and we saw how to find them in the portal using filters. Today, we want to continue our work on sessions to allow clients to search for sessions in the game. Go to the Lobby Sessions widget. We search for the sessions when the player clicks on Refresh, and therefore display the results found in the table. We want the search process to run on the client only. We will create an event that searches for sessions when it is called. There is no need to specify that it must run on the owning client because our UI is already created on the client via the player controller. Every time you click the refresh button, you have to delete all existing lines to avoid duplicates. To search for sessions, call the easy OSS task named Find OSS Sessions. This task takes filters as parameters to use during the search. The max search results parameter specifies to the search script how many sessions it should return at most. The session type parameter indicates to the search script the type of sessions to search for. In our case, it is lobby session. I will search for the sessions using the first two filters that we defined for our session when creating it. I want to display an error if the search process fails. If the task completes successfully, it returns a list of found sessions. Note that if this list is empty, it means that the task has failed. So there is no need to check the length of the list if the task completes successfully. Now for each session found, I want to create a session item type widget to then add it to the scroll box. In the Lobby Session Item widget, create a variable of type OSS session and set it to editable and expose on spawn. We will need this variable to display the session info in the table. Now add the created widget into the scroll box. There is another task that allows you to search for a session by its ID. The friend ID parameter is optional. We will use it later. I want to run a test now to check the implementation. I create a session, then click on Refresh. Here, I have the session. It's normal that I don't have the session information, because I haven't done my work in the widget item yet. The first error message that appeared indicates that the search code didn't find sessions. It's normal, because you have to wait a little delay after creation. Return to the widget item. We want to update the texts according to the session info. Call the onConstruct event. This is where we must start the process. Then create a function that is used to update the values of the texts. We have the session variable, which contains all the information we need for this widget. Follow me to code the function. The owner player name can be found by searching for it in the session's key value pairs. The same for the number of players in this session. To get the current state of the session, call the easy OSS function getOSS_session_state. This function takes the session name as a parameter, and it returns the current state of this session. Very important, Unreal Engine saves sessions on the local machine in cache if the player is part of these sessions. So this function looks for the session in the cache. That means if the player is not part of the session, this function returns a default value which is no session. I want to run a test to verify the implementation. As you see, we have the session information. Here is the current state of the session is pending. On the other hand, if I search for the sessions on player 2, so a player who is not part of the session, he cannot see the real state of the session. Finally, there are many ways to give him the real state. In a real game, it does not make sense to display the state of the session to the client. But here it is just for the need of the tutorial. We can also see that a player can create several sessions. In this tutorial, I don't want to manage several sessions in the game mode. It is enough that the player has maximum one session to be able to play with friends. It finally depends on your project and your objective. So, I will limit the creation of sessions to a single session per player in the game mode. The process to follow is to check if the game mode has a valid session at each creation call. If there is a valid session, then we will not proceed with the creation. Otherwise, we do it. To do this, create a function and name it f_is_lobby_session_valid. This function will simply check if the lobby session variable has content. The getNamed OSS session function takes a session name as a parameter and returns it if it finds it in the cache. Like this, we have a double check to verify that the player has a valid session. We now want to call the function we just created to create a session if and only if the player does not have a valid session. I run a test to verify the implementation. As you see, when I create a second session, the message already created is displayed on the screen. I now want to refresh sessions automatically when the player clicks on the Lobby Sessions tab. Get the active widget from the switcher, then cast it to Lobby Sessions widget. Then call the refresh event. In the Lobby Session item widget, I want the UI to automatically update the row contents. That way we will see the session changes without having to click refresh every time. To do this, we need to define a loop timer that refreshes the contents of the line every X seconds. To get the new session updates, we can use the getNamedOSS session function of EasyOSS plugin. But this function gives the right result only for players who are part of the session. I want everyone to be able to see the session data when the session data changes. For this, I will use the task find OSS session by ID, which contacts the backend of the target OSS and returns the session found with its latest updates. When the task finishes, just update the session variable. Then call the update content function. I will not display an error message if the task fails, because it is useless. If it fails, then no need to update the variable at all. Add a custom event and connect it to the task. We must now define a timer that calls the custom event continuously. To do this, call the node setTimer by function name, and give the name of the custom event as a parameter, then choose a time and check the loop box. Because this event will execute a task, therefore a latent node, it is advisable to increase the time between each execution. For now, I can't test to show you the result, because I have to update the session first. Anyway, you will see it in the next video when we will discuss the topic of update session. That's all for today. See you in the next video.